Welcome everyone, and just a housekeeping note, if I hear some background noise, I may go around and unmute you. So if you go to speak and you find yourself muted, that's why. Welcome to our syndicate members. The companies will pitch for 3 minutes. I will go around alphabetically and ask our investor judges for questions. But if you have a burning question you're worried I won't get to because of the alphabet, you can just write QQ in our chat room here. Syndicate members, there's a Q&A box. Can you please put your questions in there, and then that way the founders can answer you live if we don't get your questions in that round. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our first founder. Jason will be joining us shortly. We'll start with you, Paul from Fathom. You ready to go, Paul?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can. You have 3 minutes, 3, 2, go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Bloch, co-founder of Fathom. We're transforming the podcast experience. Podcasts reflect humanity's collective intelligence and imagination. At Fathom, we're asking, how can we better explore and experience this universe of ideas? Today, we use podcast players. They all give us a grid of thumbnails leading to a boring list. Trying to preview episodes doesn't work. And a search for how to create a great pitch deck returns no results. It's broken. We can do better. Fathom's built for people like David, a podcast lover. When David listens to podcasts, Fathom listens with him, understanding the content and what David loves about it. Fathom also finds people like David and combines this information to make intelligent recommendations just for him. Our AI discovers the most interesting clips and auto-plays those parts he'll enjoy most. Let's check it out.
Yeah, without the Russians, World War II wouldn't have been won either.
Yeah, the stories are written by the victors. That's really interesting.
This gives rise to popular notions that, as solid as anything seems, your tabletop or your own body, anything you can point to is in fact mostly empty space.
What a lot of these really top students did that I interviewed, the students who have fantastic grades but work less than people that have lower grades, is they realize that it is easier to increase your intensity of focus than it is to increase your time.
Fathom turns podcasts into TikToks, making browsing a fun and entertaining experience. The same AI that powers our previews delivers amazing search results. Let's try that same search from before. How can I create a great pitch deck?
Talking about your why resonates and builds a connection with your community of investors. What's easily forgotten is TAM. What's not forgotten is a captivating why.
Okay, there's something magical about this. Let's try something else. What do investors look for in a startup?
If you make it and people want it, every investor will pay attention to that. And that's the best calling card by far.
A combination, a great founding team and a great market. And great founding teams find great markets, or they find a wedge into that market.
Fathom's AI goes beyond fixing search. It's an oracle that appropriates human intelligence to answer your questions, often profoundly. So how do we do it? We built an ensemble of neural networks. Scribbles creates transcripts, Thinky turns those into thoughts, and Smarty Pants answers your questions. We're bringing this everywhere people listen to podcasts. We unsee Apple and Spotify with an AI-powered feed of previews, search, and more. Initial feedback is universally positive. We've recently launched our beta. We're going public in October. We're targeting listeners in 2 podcast clusters that include science, technology, and culture. Our AI will tell us which podcast to sponsor to drive growth. Once people can't live without it, we monetize with ads and premium memberships. At full scale, with 29 million users, we'll hit 100 million ARR. Our team has over 80 years combined engineering, product, and design experience. Thank you for your time. I'm Paul Bloch, co-founder of Fathom. We're building the best podcast experience in the world.
All right, well done, Paul. Okay, investors. David, let's start with you. Question for Paul.
Over time, do you think you stay completely meta, or do you start to have your own original content as well?
All right, thanks, David. Diana.
I mean, you're in beta now, but how do you think about acquiring users when you do go live?
All right, great. Thanks so much. And syndicate members, just wanted to remind you there's a Q&A box if you want to go ahead and drop questions in there. Please do tag the name of the founder or the company so we know that question is for the founder. Okay, let's take one from Jeff. Question for Paul.
Yeah, I was just wondering kind of what's preventing the actual platforms, being Spotify and any other player, from adding search functionality. I think that's really powerful and well done. So just curious about how you view those platforms.
All right, sounds great. And let's take one more. How about you, John? John Bracy.
Yeah, sorry, you caught me on mute there. For sure. I'm just a little curious a little bit more about your overall marketing strategy and how you're going to acquire users and ultimately monetize this long term.
All right, great. And let's grab one from our syndicate. Richard's asking, are there DMCA/copyright concerns from publishers and podcasters? So you have 2 minutes to take those, Paul. 3, 2, go.
All right, thank you so much for your question. So David, you asked about original content. I think ultimately we will be generating our original content. That's not where we're focusing. Right now, we're focusing really on just being the best listening experience for podcasts. Diana and Richard, you both, and John, you both asked about how we're going to be acquiring users. So the kind of industry secret is to actually advertise on other podcasts. That's how podcasts get most coverage today, is to partner with other podcasts and cross promote, but also specifically just advertise on other podcasts. So that's one of the ways that we're looking at acquiring new users, but we have a 360-degree marketing plan also that we're working on. Jeff, with regards to defense, like how defendable is our tech, what's preventing Apple and Spotify? I mean, one thing to note is that this kind of technology is something that neither of those companies actually tend to build in-house. In that case, we would probably be an acquisition target. Apple has purchased a couple of different search startups for podcasts, but we actually haven't really seen great results in terms of how it's implemented on Apple Podcasts. John, there's the other question you had about monetization. We have kind of 4 different income streams that we're looking at with regards to memberships, ad revenue from in-feed ads, also dynamically inserted ads. And then Richard, finally, about the DMCA copyright issues. Everything is kind of federated through RSS feeds. And so there's kind of an open ecosystem of content out there. And podcast creators can always ask us to remove their content.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Well done, Paul. That was great. So there's more questions for you in the Q&A box. Yep. Syndicate investors, keep those questions coming. And next up, we have Samuel from Wearloom. Are you ready, Samuel?
Yeah, thanks, Jackie.
Oh,
3,
yeah,
2,
no,
go.
hold on before you go.
Oh, hey, Jason.
How you doing? I usually like to say something nice about
No, sorry.
companies.
I just keep the train running.
I know you want to keep the
here.
train. You want the trains to keep running. Listen, Fathom solves a problem that's very personal to me. And I really wish somebody had built this software and doing AI to find deep inside episodes, what people are talking about, and figure out which podcast and which specific episode and which moment in each episode is something that the top 20% of podcast users have wanted forever, and the other 80% of people will want as they get past 3 or 4 podcasts in their podcast player. So when I saw what they were working on and the deep tech they were doing, I was like, this is a real winner to me. And our next company, I really like the idea of people being able to set alerts and find what they're looking for. And I've always loved that with Google Alerts and other services that do that kind of sniping. So I don't want to steal their thunder, but we'll hear from them right now.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
Great. So I'm Samuel, co-founder and CEO at Wearloom, and we're making resale shopping effortless. This is Samantha. She loves high-end fashionable clothes, but she doesn't love paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to buy them new. So instead, she uses secondhand platforms like Vestiaire Collective to save money and shop more sustainably. She's not alone. There's over 100 million resale users today, and the industry is growing at close to 40% a year. But there's a problem. Shopping resale still feels like digging through bins at Goodwill. Bad data that's inconsistent listing to listing means it's really hard to find what you actually want. And what's worse is people like Samantha aren't just looking in one place, because with the growth of resale, now there's dozens of resale platforms, thousands of independent sellers with their own storefronts, and countless brands launching resale directly, leaving people like Samantha frustrated. All she wants is to find the items she's looking for, in her case, a pair of Doan shoes in a size 5.5 or 6, easily like she could if she was shopping new. And now with Wearloom, she can. Samantha simply tells us what she's looking for, and then we go do the searching for her. We find the best new listings from her favorite resale sites and send them straight to her inbox every day, where she can easily click to purchase on resale sites directly. She bought this pair of Doan shoes for over $100, which still represented half off the retail price and saved her hours in the process. How do we do this? Well, first we have technology that goes out and gathers the best new listings from the best resale sites every day. Then we have proprietary filters that weed out irrelevant results, doing things like removing items that are not actually for sale, and removing items that are mislabeled with the wrong brand. Then we rank the remaining items for relevancy using NLP, so we only send the very best ones to our users. People are already loving this. Since launching in March, we've grown to over 6,000 users, and we're on pace to grow 33% by the end of this month. We've seen early signs of product market fit with about 500,000 in estimated GMV run rate, half of our users being active every week, and 97% monthly retention with flattening cohort curves. We've closed billion-dollar resale partners, Invest Hero Collective, eBay, ThredUp, and the Luxury Closet to take 4 to 30% of every sale that we drive for those platforms. In take rates alone, we'll hit 100 billion by 2026. We've been able to grow almost entirely organically. We find high converting free channels to reach millions of resale users online. And here are some of the responses that we get when we go and tell them about the product. People know that they want this. Not only that, from our very first month, we've seen users organically referring our product to their friends. That has been the main driver in driving up our user signups 2x this month versus last month. And then lastly, we've already started working on influencer partnerships. We've closed this partnership with this sustainable fashion influencer who has more than 50,000 followers. Her last post about us drove over 3,500 engagements in the first 24 hours. Soon enough, we'll be launching a dynamic website and app to help improve our conversion funnel, and then using the same technology that works for resale fashion to expand beyond the fashion vertical to secondhand goods more broadly within the next few years, $1 trillion opportunity. We have the team to do this. I'm building this because I ran into this problem firsthand as an avid resale consumer. I have previous experience in private equity and founding experience in software and fashion. Our CTO Kunal has a background in machine learning, data science, and product, and our software engineer is a software engineer at Google. I'm Samuel, co-founder and CEO of Weirloom, and we are making resale shopping effortless.
All right, Samuel, well done. Okay, Katie, you're up next, please. Question for Samuel.
Hey, Samuel. Well, I love this as a consumer, so I can't wait to try it. And great stats. Congrats on early success. Can you talk a little bit more about customer acquisition? And then also, this is a low margin business. So what are your current margins and what are your projected margins over the next couple of years?
Thank you, Katie. Laurel.
Hey guys, similarly impressed by the traction so far. I guess my question is, who is the customer? If it's a woman, which I presume it is, why are there no women on the team?
All right, Laurel, thank you. Rob, excuse me. Rob?
Yeah, just want to echo the issue of customer acquisition and how you guys get word out for something like this. It's super cool, but are there any viral loops you can build on the product, or can you get customer acquisition through your partners that you aggregate the products from?
All right, thanks, Rob. Let's grab one more. Zach.
Yeah, my question would actually be more around tech. Are you utilizing your own search engine, your own tagging, or the underlying platforms? Because I think eBay and others have alerting if you want to filter for certain types of products. So I would be really interested in whether you're applying computer vision or other technologies to augment the data about listings, standardize it, and improve filtering from a technological standpoint.
All right, terrific. You want to take those, Samuel? You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of your questions. Okay, so Katie, you mentioned customer acquisition. Somebody else mentioned that as well. So as I mentioned, we found these organic channels that have led us that are scalable to like millions of people online to reach active resale users who are already using other platforms. That's a huge source for us. Organic referrals is a huge source for us. And then on the paid side, as I mentioned, we've already started to work on influencer partnerships. We're actually better able to position than any of these other resale platforms because we're not selling a brand around resale. We're selling secondhand shopping as a whole. There's no other company that can really position that way. And so, for instance, the influencer that we're currently partnered with, Gaia, had never done an influencer partnership before, was very averse to them. But because she believed so strongly in our mission, she was willing to come and partner with us. On that distribution note as well, that's not only true for influencer positioning, it's also true for positioning with these fashion brands. And so we're able to get fashion brands exposure to the entire secondhand market, which is great from a revenue monetization standpoint around the data. It's also great from a distribution standpoint. And so that's something that we're going to be working on over the next few years, is starting to partner with fashion brands to feed the secondhand supply for their brand back to their brand's website, which is also a channel for us to drive growth that these other resale players can't do. In terms of the margins, which Katie asked about, so compared to like a marketplace, our margins are actually pretty good. We get about half the take that the marketplaces get that we partner with, and we have significantly lower overhead because we don't have to deal with the cost of supply. And then we go out and partner with consignment players like ThredUp. We're getting up to 30% of every sale, which is far more than any marketplace and even more than some consignment players. So I would actually push back that it's a low margin business. I think it's relatively high, especially when considering our costs. Laurel mentioned who's the customer. If it's a woman, why are there no women on the team? So our customer base so far is skewed heavily women. Long term, we want to serve everybody. In terms of why there's not a woman on the team, this is the team that came together based off of my network at Rice. But post this raise, as we go on to hire, it's not going to be an all male team, guarantee it. And I wish we had a woman on the team already. Zach asked about the tech. So we have some proprietary NLP as well as some proprietary filters that already mean our results are better than these existing resale platforms today. It's going to be an increasing focus as time goes on. That's all the time I have. Thank you all for your questions. Appreciate it.
Okay, well done, Samuel. All right. And again, syndicate members, if you have questions, please go ahead and drop them in the Q&A box, and founders, please go ahead and answer them there. And also there's another question for you in our chat box from Diana. Okay, next up is Marie from Llama Life.
Oh, I love Llama Life. Another one of my favorites, Jackie.
I know, you just like 7 favorites.
These are my 7 favorites. Everybody's into productivity and trying to get and self-regulating. I think working at home and being more independent and trying to hit your targets is challenging for a lot of people, as opposed to being in an office and kind of, getting dragged along with everybody else. And so Llama Life is a really interesting way to increase your, focus. And the founder is super passionate, and the product has some real character like a MailChimp does, et cetera. They just had a great outcome. And I just love these SaaS consumer bottom-up subscription products. And I think this one has great opportunity to take that path from consumer subscription to eventually becoming, an enterprise default kind of subscription. So really excited about this one. 3, 2,
Thanks,
go.
Jason.
Okay, good. Cool. 3 to go.
Hey everyone, I'm Marie. This is Llama Life. It's an app that manages your attention, not just your time. In the past 20 years, the average attention span has dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds, and it's impacting the way we work. Let's experience David's workday. He's a busy entrepreneur, and his attention is pulled in many directions. He's tried blocking time on his calendar, but that just allocates time. It doesn't manage his attention during it. So David still ends up getting distracted, and the stuff that he needs to get done keeps getting pushed later into the day. So let's see how Llama Life helps. David wants to review his new website design and decides to spend 30 minutes on it. So he types 30 after the task, and Llama Life creates a 30-minute focus session, which he customizes with emoji. When he's ready to start, he hits play and the session begins, encouraging focus on the task at hand. And to plan his day, David can queue up multiple sessions like this. This allows him to stay in flow from one to the next and gives a much clearer picture of his day. He can now see his total list time and projected finishing time, which update depending on his progress. And David can also play different soundscapes like beach or forest sounds, see progress with daily reports, and create templates for more routine tasks. Compared to other focus tools, we have unique features, but what makes Llama Life stand out is the design. Llama Life is designed for dopamine. Setting up a task is super quick, and emoji creates variety and fun. During a task, we give users a challenge, stay focused while that timer is running, and on completion, satisfying sound effects and encouragement keep users like David coming back for more. The business model is a 7-day free trial followed by subscription, and we're seeing early signs of product market fit with over 600 paying customers, 10% conversion from free trial to paid, 30% growth month on month with good retention and no marketing spend. The go-to-market is B2C, targeting founders running indie businesses. They're juggling multiple roles, so they're more willing to pay for tools to get stuff done, and they're building in public, so they're generating word of mouth. And what they're talking about is interesting because they're seeing Llama Life as a lifestyle, not just software. And they're imagining what additional products could look like, for example, physical products. It's even being talked about as a verb, so customers are llama-ing through tasks. So our vision is to build on this customer love and be the #1 brand for mental clarity, focus, and attention at work. In the next 12 months, we'll grow to 15,000 users by integrating with other productivity apps, go from single player mode to multiplayer, and produce premium audio content to help users get into flow. This will lay a strong foundation for our path to 100 million, which involves adding Llama Life for businesses in 2023, with a goal to hit 2,000 businesses and 2 million individual users by 2027. The team is currently myself. I previously built an app that ranked in Apple's top 10 productivity apps, and I've been passionate about solving for attention and focus ever since being diagnosed with ADHD 10 years ago. I'm Marie, this is Llama Life, an app that manages your attention, not just your time.
Okay, thanks so much, Marie. Okay, back around to you, David. Question for Marie.
Congratulations on what looks like a beautiful app. I'm curious. It seems to me, watching the demo, that the use case and the demographic and psychographic is probably broader than it may appear, but it also seems to me like potentially the psychographic of people that are thinking about signing up may not be as big as people actually will find it valuable. I'm curious, what have you learned about people's perception of, do they want something like this?
Okay, thank you, David. Diana.
Yeah, I mean, so you talked a little bit about your integrations. Does that include calendar syncs? I think so much of us live and die by our calendar. I would imagine wanting to use this, but my entire team uses Google Calendar or Microsoft Teams, whatever your team uses. So I would just love to know a little bit about how you think about that working into people's current tools that they're already using.
Thank you, Diana. Jeff.
Yes, curious just if you have any idea what converts that 10% that go from free to paid, what behaviors or what is pushing them to subscribe?
All right, terrific. And let's grab one more, John.
Yeah, I'm just curious again about what you've learned or seen, if you have any user feedback on how they're experiencing the app and why they're getting benefit from it. Because I go through this problem myself for sure, like many of us. I can just imagine myself slipping away from this just as easily as I do everything else I've ever tried. So maybe that's just my problem, but I'm wondering if your users have given you specific feedback as to why this is performing better for them than other tools they've tried.
All right, that's great. And we have one from the syndicate. Jackie asked question, is the 10% conversion considered high or low? And is there a target goal in mind? Okay, you want to take those, Marie? You have 2 minutes.
All right. Diana, so you asked about calendar integration. There's no calendar integration at the moment, but that's certainly something I'm thinking about. Integrations is a huge part of the strategy going forward because customer feedback has indicated that Llama Life is very much part of a workflow. So people are still using, their own to-do list apps, their own project management apps, and own calendar apps, but they're transferring tasks into Llama Life to get into flow. So that is definitely on the roadmap. Jeff, you asked about why people convert, and I think there was one from the syndicate as well. I think most people are converting because, in today's world, most of us are working from home and there's a lot of distractions at the moment. And a lot of people are looking to make the best use of their time. So it's not about how many hours you're working. It's more about how efficiently you're using those hours. And importantly, how you feel at the end of that. So a lot of our users have indicated that using the product does not feel overwhelming and they feel really calm and collected when they're using it. Two people can have the same to-do list and get through the same list during the day, but they can end up in very different places in terms of their headspace. One person could feel hectic and stressed and the other person might feel calm and accomplished. And, obviously we're trying to design the product very much for the latter. In terms of, why it performs better than other tools, John, I think the timer has a huge part to do with it. So the timer mechanism creates a constraint, a positive constraint, and a ceiling to work toward for the task at hand. And that really helps intensify focus. And that's something that we're really trying to build an experience around. So that's pretty much all the time I have. I'll try to answer more questions in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
All right, well done, Marie. There's another question for you in the Q&A. Okay, next up we have David from Jenni AI.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, sure. Jason? I'm not going to run over you this time. Jason, you with us? He's on mute, though. He's on mute, though.
So, sorry about that. It's literally my new album is dropping in 2022.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Jake Al. So, SEO and AI was obviously going to happen. And I've been pitched on the idea a bunch of times. And it was kind of spammy and a lot of plagiarism. And it wasn't ready for prime time. And when I saw Jenni AI, I was like, oh, they figured it out and it's going to work. So I really like the approach here, which is augmenting humans, not replacing them. basically helping your SEO team, your content team start on second base, and giving them ideas, but not doing all the work and keeping the human touch. So SEO is not going anywhere, content marketing is not going anywhere, and AI and SEO are going to obviously be intertwined. So really excited about this one.
All right.
Thank you, Jay.
David, let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, so my name is David. I'm here to tell you about Jenni AI and how you can write high quality SEO content in minutes, not weeks. This is Aaron. He runs Reloaded Marketing. He has to write dozens of articles a week, and he's an in-house team of writers. He wants to rank #1 on Google for how to build a pitch deck, but it could easily take 20 hours of research, writing, and editing with no guarantee of ranking at all. And without results, he could lose clients or maybe even go out of business. That's what we made Jenni. Jenni helps research, write, and improve your articles. Here's how it works. First, you put in your target search query. In this case, it's how to build a pitch deck. When someone Googles that, we want to be that first article that they see. Jenni then actually goes to Google and researches for you. What are these top-ranked articles talking about? What are the topics being discussed? How long are these articles? What are the headings looking like? And from that, she generates an outline, kind of like this outline. And you could say, oh, the importance of a pitch deck. I like that title. Jenni, why don't you write that out for me? And she will. But it doesn't stop there. You could say, oh, I like that question. What is the purpose of a pitch deck? I think readers will really want to know about that. Jenni, why don't you write that for me as well? And she'll give you 100% plagiarism-free content that's written much like how a human writer would write, based upon research of what's currently doing well on Google. In 1 hour, Aaron was able to create rich SEO-optimized content and bring a little bit of that magic back to writing. In his own words, pure happiness with the tool. But it's not just Aaron. We currently have 50 total customers, most of them being marketing agencies. We have one plan, a $99 a month plan, that comes with 30 documents, unlimited generations, and for some, pure happiness. Here's our milestone attractions. We have an upward trend in MRR, and our rate of new customers coming in increases each month. Our competitors are twofold. On the left, we have article generators like Conversion AI, Shortly, even places like Article Forge, where you can get an entire AI generated article in one click. Although the quality leaves a little to be desired, and it doesn't really sound like a human writer. On the other side, we have expert human writers. These people are well researched. They're SEO optimized. They give so much value that they're naturally going to rank well on Google because they hit that search intent of what these searchers are looking for on Google. Jenni, we want to be the best of both worlds. We want to augment writers with these generative tools so they can write faster. But more importantly, we want to augment them with context, outlines, data, statistics, so that while they can write faster, more importantly, they will actually get results and they'll do well on search engines like Google. Here's our roadmap. We're currently at 30K ARR. By late 2021, we want to hit 120K ARR. And by early 2024, we want to hit 100 million ARR by expanding to other languages and actually disrupting SEO marketing agencies. Every small or medium-sized business should just have one small or one platform where they can go and they can get organic traffic from Google without those exorbitant monthly retainers for these agencies to just create articles and then be found by these searchers. Here's the team. I actually ran an SEO content marketing agency. I delivered just under 1 million words to digital marketing agencies all around the world. I felt this pain point myself. And of course, my co-founder, who's responsible for all the cool AI and product-driven stuff that you saw on this pitch. So that's me. That's Jenni AI. Thank you so much for listening. I'm excited to answer any questions.
All right. Well done, David. Katie, you're up next, please. Question for David.
Great job, David. Is it just the two of you? I'm curious about your technical founder and how the experience of your eng team, if you're doing it in-house and exploring externally. And also, as you think about internationalization and localization, what are the requirements that you'll need to be able to scale that?
All right. Thank you, Katie. Laurel.
This is a scary future. So yeah, being a former journalist, this kind of thing just makes me wonder, can we trust the results? How many mistakes are made? How are you iterating on the product quickly in order to avoid mistakes? So those are my questions.
All right, thanks, Laurel. Rob.
Yeah, so I'm curious, when I've looked at a lot of these like generative NLP companies, and the thing that I always worry about is, because training these models is outside of the hands of a lot of average people, that as OpenAI and groups like that train bigger and bigger models, this is going to become a business with not a lot of defensibility. So I'm curious how you think about building in some defensibility long term, given that the generative NLP may, or I mean, you could argue that it is, right? But if it's not, where do you build defensibility somewhere else?
All right, thanks, Rob. Zach.
Yeah, I'd piggyback off Rob. I think, GPT-3 and other technologies are going to commoditize this. I think table stakes will be generative content for sort of creative and SEO optimization. So I would wonder if you can go deeper with customers. Does that mean, human in the loop, so they can get like fractional shares of content writers? Does that mean generative ad content, so text and image ads for their sort of Google advertising or other advertising platforms? Or is there a depth with each customer that you could consider?
All right, great questions. We'll grab one from the syndicate. Gordon's asking, how did you decide the pricing model for the 99 per month unlimited use, since most customers are agencies? All right, that's a lot, but do your best in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
David.
I'll try to go through all the questions. So Katie, in terms of the team, it's not the two of us. We also have 2 front-end engineers and 1 marketing specialist. We're all working full-time. In terms of internationalization, that's definitely something that's always been on our radar. I'm actually in Korea working on partnerships with large companies here. Right now, our model can only generate in English. So I'm looking to partner with companies like Naver that actually have models that work in Korean, so that we can work here in Korea and then eventually all over the world. Laurel, can we trust the results? This is a critical question. I am one of many of GPT-3's brain children. And the fact is that we can't trust these results. This AI generated content, there can be hallucinations. And we need to really ensure that there's a human driving these articles. And that's why on Jenni, at every step of the way, we want to make sure that there's context. For example, if there's a generated text, we show you this topic, here's what your competitors are saying on Google, which allows you to fact check what you're saying and not just post something, and then even if it's incorrect, just hope that you're going to rank. And of course, it doesn't just help with facts. You can also say, oh, I like how my competitor framed this question. And you can get some inspiration. You can say, oh, they seem to write in a dire way. I'm gonna follow that tone a little more. Rob, how are we defensible? Yeah, I mean, GPT-3 is only, to be honest, we only use GPT-3 for one aspect of Jenni. We're also partnered with AI21. We use something called GPT Jurassic. We've also deployed our own gargantuan GPT. We have 7 to 8 models altogether that help with statistics classification, actually analyzing text from Google. And really defensibility comes for us, at least, design and data. Each time somebody uses Jenni, they're making decisions, they're choosing headings, they're finding questions that they like. Through this, we can continue to make this experience better for our users. Can we go deeper with customers? Do we just do SEO? Yeah, I mean, this is just the beginning. Eventually, Jenni's not going to just live on the domain Jenni AI. We're going to have a Google Chrome extension, and you can call Jenni on Notion, on Google Docs. You can have her help you with any type of document and give you context, outlines, and make it so you are actually saving 50 to 80% of time and just doing the high-level analysis. And Gordon, I would love to get your question, but I ran out of time, so I'll answer that in the chat. Thank you, everybody.
Great. And you have more questions for you in the Q&A box as well. Well done, David. Okay, next up, we have Sudhama from Track.
Okay, we were lucky enough to be investors in a company called Reportive by a founder named Raul, and he sold that to LinkedIn, and he promised us when he did his next company, we'd be able to invest. That next company was Superhuman, and we put the first 500K check in, I think, with a couple of other angels. And when we saw Track, we were like, wow, Superhuman for calendars, what a great idea. And Superhuman's not building that, so fantastic. They've got a lot of organic beta signups, and nobody believed in Calendarly or a lot of the other calendaring products out there. And this brings together everything in a beautiful, high functioning, fast interface. There's always room for fast and better and more elegant in this world.
Okay,
Awesome.
Sudhama, that's your cue. Go ahead.
Yeah. I almost don't feel like presenting now that Jason said it, but thanks so much, Jason. I really appreciate it. So let me just go. So hey everyone, I'm Sudhama, the founder of Track, and we're building the fastest, most elegant calendar experience ever made. The problem is clear. Calendars aren't designed for the people who live by them. They're slow, cluttered, and unintuitive. So meet Sej. He's a doctor and aspiring entrepreneur and uses Superhuman. So Sej put this post on LinkedIn recently where he said he's moving to India and would love to collaborate with people in healthcare. And in response to the post, he got over 100 people reach out to Sej, and not just from India. This means he has to schedule tens of calls and share his availability with people across several different time zones very efficiently. Fortunately, his friend had got him onto Track when he told Sej it's like Superhuman for calendar. So when Sej needs to share his availability with Anjana in India, he opens up Track and adds IST times to his view. Then using natural language specifies the conference type, the days and times he's available, and continues using the keyboard to add Anjana's information so she doesn't need to take the effort. Track then creates a message which is customized to her time zone and is personalized and customizable as well. So when Anjana opens the link She can match with the calendar or just browse a few slots and pick one, and then book the call in 2 clicks. Not just that, before Track, finding a time with his teammates meant navigating this maze. But thanks to Track, he can collaborate with his teammates in a fast, efficient, and fun way. Track just shows the times that's available for everyone, and he can book the call in a few clicks. It's fast and fun. In terms of booking a recurring Zoom call with Matt, who's a scientist, he can just specify in natural language how often the event should occur, add a few more details, and book the call in 7 seconds. Sage loves Track. It has dramatically changed how he uses the calendar. He can't go back to point and click calendars anymore and would be really disappointed if it stopped to exist. Our business model is really simple. It's a 1-week free trial with a $10 subscription after that. And by Q2 next year, we plan to open up to the enterprise at $150 a year. What's really rewarding in terms of signs of early product market fit is to see users like Ryan, who used the app on 94% of the days since he was onboarded more than 8 months ago, and perform core actions multiple times a day. In terms of competition, we worked really hard to build the fastest calendar from the ground up and are extremely strong with the NLP. Our goal is to get to 11,700 customers by next year, with plans to release our iPhone app, add team features, and have an Outlook integration along the way. To get to 100 million ARR by 2027, we're targeting 550,000 prosumers and 2,500 enterprise customers. I'm a second-time technical founder with over a decade of experience in technology and product building. And we have a small, global, and capital-efficient team. And we've been living and breathing calendars and scheduling since 2019, when we built an app called Check-in Call, which was a peer-to-peer app for scheduling with your mobile phone. Also, as our gesture of gratitude to launch, and to everyone who's attending as part of the syndicate and the investors, we are offering a lifetime deal for just $75 just for the next 72 hours. You can sign up at thetrackapp.com. Thanks so much for listening. We are Track and building the fastest calendar experience ever made.
All right, well done, Sudhama. Nicely done. Okay, David Wu, you're up next, please. Question for Sudhama.
I saw you went kind of quickly through that slide, but as you go from prosumer to enterprise, how do you think about your feature set and which market you're spending more time catering towards?
All right, thanks, David. Diana.
Yeah, my question is, even if it is a better tool, how do you get people to convert? So much of work tools are, around the inheritance of the tools of that organization. And then my second question is around what tools are you integrating with? And then the third is, what does onboarding look like for both individuals and organizations?
All right, thank you, Diana. Jeff?
Yeah, I think I'd double down on kind of the prosumer to teams question, and then just add on kind of a view on competition. There's a lot of superhuman for X calendar apps right now. So I'm just curious how you view those.
All right, great. And John?
I think Diana's questions covered most of mine.
Okay, cool. Let's grab one from the syndicate. Alice is asking, what is the level of integration with MS Outlook? Okay, you want to tackle those, Sudhama? You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much for the questions, everyone. David, you asked about the prosumer to the enterprise and how do you pick a market. The way we look at it is, right now we've been getting a lot of interest from the prosumer, but this naturally, the use cases as we build some of the team collaborative features extends naturally to small teams, especially, sort of small teams which are working globally or client facing for that matter. And then the step up from that would be to take it to the enterprise with some of the team collaboration features as well. Diana and John, I think you both asked about, how do you get people to, convert? Essentially, like this onboarding process, we are doing that as well right now. We see a lot of stickiness coming from that. As you can, as I shared on the slide as well, some of them using for a few months and like a very high percentage of days, even including on the weekends. In terms of integration and onboarding, so in terms of integration, we have a Zoom integration right now. We are looking to integrate with Outlook very soon. We already prototyped it. We have a mobile app, which is pretty powerful as well, which is kind of agnostic to the communication layer. And in terms of onboarding, we do a 30-minute onboarding, similar to Superhuman right now, but we are keeping an open mind to other ways to make it easier for people to do things like self-serve, for example. Jeff, in terms of prosumers to team, I think I did hint upon that as well. We do see a strong stickiness now, and we are building some team related features. So we are seeing like founders trying to use it internally, and then we'll extend it to more enterprise use cases. In terms of competition, I think the one thing we feel we do really well is to systematically address the three key challenges that people with calendars have. People using calendars have is that they're slow, cluttered, and unintuitive. And the surface area for the calendar is massive, so it comes down to how you actually sort of build out from the feature set, but paying attention to every detail matters as well. I guess that's all I have question time for, but would love to answer more questions later.
All right, well done. And getting a lot of requests to put that link, offer link in the chat so folks have it. Okay, thanks so much. Next up, Liam from Krepling. Jason, you're on mute. I'm sorry to break it to you. Just the messenger.
All right, so I'm using the spacebar now. We've been particularly obsessed with no-code solutions, using them internally. Obviously, we've watched e-commerce do amazingly with Shopify, and we were able to meet this awesome service that's putting together no-code and e-commerce. And we thought, well, there's a winning idea, and it's been doing really well. Again, super excited. 3, 2, go.
Thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Liam, co-founder and CEO of Krepling, a no-code platform enabling the next wave of commerce. To get things started, I want to take you back to 2006, a time where selling online wasn't entirely possible. So along came companies like Shopify and BigCommerce who enable merchants to sell their products on the internet. But since 2006, modern businesses have evolved tremendously. The business of today now has to cope with countless processes and integrations using technology that was only built to solve one thing. So how did Shopify keep up? They released thousands of apps that don't always get the job done. Entrepreneurs are forced to use rigid code, poorly designed systems, and costly third-party apps that slow down front-end performance. In summary, current technology has failed to support modern commerce, with today's platforms making integrating a costly process, time being wasted navigating disjointed backends, and no code becoming an idea lost in translation. It's for this reason business owners like Stefan are choosing to build their business with Krepling. Let me show you how he does it. He heads over to krepling.com and selects a plan that resonates with his business, fills out his business details, and our AI auto-design tools then magically build him a custom website with built-in cross-border e-commerce functionality in just a few seconds. Stefan is then instantly integrated with all the main front and back office tools he needs to manage and scale his business. And it doesn't stop there. He can also be handling orders, tracking his performance, scaling across multiple sales channels, and a whole lot more, all without having to waste time and money working with broken apps and navigating disjointed systems. Krepling does all the heavy lifting whilst keeping things strictly no-code. He's able to plug in any tool he likes just through a few simple clicks. Our technology integrates with some of the world's leading tools, including the likes of Stripe, PayPal, Google, MailChimp, Shippo, and more, allowing entrepreneurs to keep up with the evolution of the web as a whole. Krepling is currently at $140K in annual SaaS revenue, growing an average of 17% month over month, with a platform GMV exceeding $1 billion and a churn rate below 2.5%. Krepling charges a $15 to $35 a month for businesses and a minimum of $2K a month for enterprises. In future, we'll also be charging a 2.75% transaction fee for all payments on the platform. Our competition is still largely platforms built over 15 years ago. Through over a decade of emerging tech, Krepling is uniquely positioned as a no-code focused, long-term commerce platform. Krepling's growth has been driven by our product, with only 10% coming from paid ads. By removing the risky and long replatforming process for businesses, and through our network advantage, where agencies and enterprises alike resonate with increased conversions they experience on Krepling. This is exactly how we acquire large DTC brands like Forestall's. They're migrated over in just a couple of hours and scaled to over $2 million in revenue purely on Krepling. With just 22,000 users, we'll reach $100 million in ARR by splitting 40 to 60% of our revenue across transactions and subscriptions. My brother and I are 21 and 18 years old respectively, and have scaled our previous e-commerce company to an acquisition. Our team has a combined experience of 110 plus years, made up of ex-startup founders, software enthusiasts, and we've all experienced the same problem, the problem we're trying to solve firsthand. I'm Liam, this is Krepling, a no-code platform enabling the next wave of commerce. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Liam. Great job. Katie, you're up next, please. Question for Liam.
Hey, Liam, great deck. First, are you really based in Malta, and is that where you're building the team? And second, can you talk a little bit about your target customer?
All right, thanks, Katie. Laurel.
So yeah, super impressive traction. I'm just wondering how you got to where you got. What were the techniques you used, and how can they be replicated at scale?
All right, thanks, Laurel. Rob.
Yeah, you mentioned network effects of multi-channel customer acquisition. I'm just curious if you could dig a little deeper in there and explain what that is exactly.
All right, thanks, Rob. And Zach.
Yeah, the target market would be my top question, but I think somebody else referenced that. Is it smaller than Shopify stores? Is it European-based stores, or how do you differentiate on the target? Just to add one to that would be, where do you envision going? Are you trying to go sort of up funnel for stores, try to help them get demand, or are you trying to go, I think Shopify is going down funnel, right? Doing more and more logistics. So how do you think about your roadmap?
All right, terrific. Want to take those, Liam? You got 2 minutes, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the questions. I'll start off with Katie. So yeah, my co-founder and myself are based in Malta, but most of our operation is based in the States. In fact, the company's built in the States and most of our team are there, but we were remote pre-COVID. So remote before it was cool, I guess, which has kind of allowed us to scale so effectively from Malta. A bit about the target customer. So, Krepling serves 4 verticals. Those in cross-border retail, any D2C, DNVB, CPG commerce companies, B2B focused companies, and we're able to achieve a large subset of our growth by enabling those brands who have outgrown the imperfections of Shopify, but don't want the expense and size of something like Salesforce, and scale this vertically, allowing the brands currently on Krepling to really find high growth. And this is really how we scale this in terms of how Krepling can grow on this vertical. You look at downstream competitors like Shopify, they really promise a 3-month process, and we usually do a migration in just a couple of hours. So it's very much a scalable vertical. And this kind of goes me into Zach's question. I mean, that's a vision we see the brand going. You're correct. Shopify is very much down funnel. We very much focus on those commerce companies in scale, really looking for a solution that's not just quite headless yet. That being said, we also focus on those brands who have yet to go build their brand in the online space, which is still mostly an untapped vertical, with only roughly 10% around of D2C and CPG brands having any form of scalable presence. In terms of the target customer, that's very much enterprise at scale as opposed to just any old commerce company within those verticals. So that's really how we see that going. In terms of our network effects, Shopify's App Store, they exist on the low-end SMB platforms. Shopify's definitely limited a lot of brands that don't want to expose their large user base to potentially untested functionality. So a lot of these brands actually resonate with the problem we're solving. So a lot of Krepling's growth and where our future growth will really be based on is scaling across these cross verticals and leveraging our network effects. I thank you guys for your questions. I'll be happy to answer any more in the chat. Thank you all for coming and really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Liam. Okay, and for our 7th founder of LA23, we have Zach from Deft. Jason? There you go.
You go, Jackie.
You can do it. You were on mute and then you went off mute, Jason.
Okay. I've always had this love of concierge kind of services and augmenting humans plus search. I did it with Mahalo. It didn't work out, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And when I saw this solution, I was like, wow, I would use that. And I know 100 people who would. And so when I see that, it piques my interest. So the results of these search results speak for themselves.
Ready to go?
All set. 3, 2, go.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Jason and Jackie. So there are over 2 billion products in the web. What if you could get the right one instantly every single time? That's why we're building Deft, the fastest way to shop online. To see the difference, let's experience Emma's shopping journey together. She's looking for a sectional, but with her 2 cats, she wants one that holds up to scratching and is easy to clean for under $5,000. She starts her search by typing pet-friendly sectional into Google. And the first results that come up are irrelevant advertisements and some directions to a department store. She scrolls a bit further and gets over SEO'd links, followed by more ads. So she hops over to Amazon, where she's bombarded with slipcovers from sketchy brands like HDCAXKJ, microfiber towels, and food containers. Emma then reverts to the only brand she can remember, like Article and Crate & Barrel and Restoration Hardware, but the process of searching and filtering and cross-referencing products with review sites leaves her frustrated, exhausted, and ultimately making this post on Reddit, which is where we find her. So let me show you how her search goes with Deft. She types exactly what she wants into the box. So pet-friendly sectional under $5,000. And we use our own natural language parsing to find actually pet-friendly sectionals with no filters and no ads. She has a picture of the couch she likes, so she uploads that. And we magically combine the text and images to find similar looking products, or in this case, an exact match. Emma then uses our quick view to see all the reviews, discounts, and content related to the product so she doesn't have to open a single tab. Now, our search works by parsing the internet. Where today's search engines might see some text and metadata, Deft's AI understands connections beyond the web page to help our customers cut through complexity. And the best part is we're bringing this wherever Emma already shops online. With a click of a button, Deft cleans up the search results and delivers the research right to her wherever she is. Emma was so impressed, she bought the sofa and came back looking for a rug. She's a busy engineer, so she signed up for our concierge service. She submits some more specifics like, let's make sure it's 12 feet and natural tones and not too flashy, please. And we connect her with a personal shopper to keep searching for the perfect rug behind the scenes, just like if she visited a store. Thanks to Deft, Emma was left amazed, and she and her fiance were finally able to make a decision on both the rug and the sofa. And clearly, people love searching this way. Users of our search bar are converting 15% of the time. That's 5 times the e-commerce benchmark. Premium users like Emma convert 85%. And we've been growing organically at least 5% every week, even in private beta. We've started in furniture and home decor with plans to expand across categories, and we're quickly enabling Deft anywhere you shop online. Our pricing is simple. Users can search for free, but we charge $5 a month for search customization and $20 a month for the personal shopper. We also make 8% affiliate revenue on every sale. We've enabled memberships for only a subset of our users now, but we're already averaging $1K in revenue a month. With 1,000 monthly actives, we'll hit $100K revenue a month. And given our stellar conversion and growth rates, we'll hit $10 million a month in the next 3 years without any ad spend or marketing cost. Our team is composed of e-commerce and engineering experts. Our investors include Daniel Gross, who worked on Siri, and obviously Jason. And we're super excited to share our tool with you. We hope to have you searching with us soon. I'm Zach. We're building Deft, the fastest way to shop online.
All right. Thank you, Zach. David, question for Zach.
Zach, thank you for solving this problem. This is a problem that myself and a lot of people hit all the time. That being said, I'm curious that as time evolves and you get more traction, where do you think the competitive moats in this business versus the big guys starting to do similar things?
All right. Thank you, David. Diana.
Zach, nice to see you. I'm already a fan of Deft, and I've experienced the concierge service actually. So my question kind of speaks to that. Once you've got a customer hooked on this great product, a lot of it now is happening, on a more customized level. How do you think about that as you scale?
Thank you, Diana. Jeff.
Yeah, it's more of a product question, but have you thought of solutions outside of the uploading functionality to make it a little bit more streamlined? I would just expect a lot of fall off there. So I'm curious what you're thinking.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. And how about you, John?
If I understood correctly, this is a consumer play. You're charging the consumers for this product, for the experience. Do you see a B2B play on this as well?
All right. Thank you for those questions. Let's take those. Zach, you got 2 minutes, please.
Yeah. So I'll jump into Diana's on the personal shopping aspect. Our plan to actually scale that is to potentially partner with some brands. So you could see, for instance, a personal shopping request going over to a particular brand's customer service agent who's just kind of sitting around waiting to answer some intercom chats. So that's potentially how we scale. We always want to keep it personalized though, because when you start getting into kind of the auto-generated results, they're just, it doesn't really meet the needs of the user. You think about the shopper who goes to the store, it's not maybe until a sales rep or a friend tells them, hey, you look good at that they actually make the purchase. That's kind of what the personal shopping service fulfills. So we always want to keep it personalized for them. There was a question from Jeff about uploading images, solutions outside of that. So you can do text, you can do images. We're also considering voice. Our parser actually handles natural language very well. If you do want to do an image upload, or if you want to use text, you can kind of go any of those directions. Our browser extensions and our e-commerce plugin should actually enable that to be a little bit smoother. So say, for instance, you see an image online, you just use our browser extension, it's immediately uploaded. You don't have to go find it on your computer or something like that. John, your question was about a B2B play here. So there's actually been a lot of brands that have kind of reached out to us either about access to our API or access to our search technology. So I think there's absolutely some plays there, but we're really focused on the consumer today, and we'll kind of let any B2B opportunities spill outside of that. And David, your question was about Maveron. What are the competitive moats? I actually think one of the biggest moats, while the technology is proprietary and very interesting, one of the biggest moats is data. E-commerce data is incredibly messy. You have brands that are just trying to jam as many keywords as possible into their titles, descriptions, etc. We're essentially creating the cleanest amount of e-commerce data that's ever existed to enable this type of search. So I'd say that's one of the biggest competitive advantage, and also our business model, because we're focused on the consumer. We don't allow ads to basically screw up the results. So that's my time. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Zach. Before we move on to our alumni update, I'm just going to remind our investor judges here that I am going to ask you to vote for your top 3 of the 7 that you just saw. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to also welcome Mary from Marlow, who graduated in the 7th class. So she's going to give us her update. Go ahead, Mary.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen here. All right.
All right, 3, 2, go, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary, CEO of Marlow, the most effective way to develop great managers. Top CEOs invest in coaching for themselves and their leadership teams because coaching is the best way to achieve higher performance. Bill Gates said, everyone needs a coach. It's how we improve. But companies are losing $7 trillion a year to poor management, so leaders need their managers to improve fast. What if every manager had a dedicated coach to help them improve? With Marlow, now they can. This is Amy Horn, Chief People Officer at K&L Gates, and Amy was looking for the most effective way to use her training budget. Marlow provided the perfect solution, enabling Amy to support her managers all around the world. Amy shared her list of participants, and we managed the onboarding process from there. We track trends and progress of all of her members, regularly ask them for their feedback, and then compile all of this information into a monthly impact report so Amy can track ROI. We send every manager a unique link to create their account, ask them to choose potential focus topics, and then share more information about their current work situation. They're prompted to complete our Marlow Focus self-assessment to help them identify which of the skills need the most attention. Marlow combines training and coaching to deliver one-on-one manager development. Every member gets a custom coaching plan, and they have biweekly coaching calls. After each call, the coach sends them call notes and checks in with the manager to help them stay on track. Managers rate us 9.2 out of 10 for impact and coaching quality. 93% say that we're more likely to stay with their companies after working with Marlow, and 83% reported being more effective at delegating. Our clients say Marlow is high value, high impact to the team, and directly impacts their bottom line. Our 12-month net revenue retention is 124%, and our business model is $275 per manager per month for full access. We're on track to reach $650,000 in ARR by the end of Q3 and $1 million in ARR by January. And we have 15 paying clients that are working remote and work environments. Our coaching marketplaces have proven that one-on-one coaching can be scaled. BetterUp raised $400 million to make it easier to connect therapists and coaches to clients. But these marketplaces stop here, lacking consistency and quality. E-learning and training platforms are turning this e-learning and training platforms can help knowledge gaps get filled, but they're turning this information into habits and lasting results is really cumbersome. Marlow has the scalability features offered by coaching marketplaces, the proprietary curriculum that outshines e-learning platforms, and we hire experienced coaches to work full-time as experts in our core skills. Because of that one-on-one nature, we're able to turn this entire experience into a habit-forming opportunity. We've raised $430,000 in total funding and are ready to scale. We've acquired our clients mostly through outbound sales using LinkedIn and Gmail, content marketing using HubSpot and our podcast Leveling Up, and then partnerships with Fringe and Wishlist. This is our roadmap. We're on track to exceed $100 million by 2025. You can see the accounts and coaches needed to help us get there. We have an amazing team of experienced coaches, operators, and developers, and we're ready to scale. Again, my name is Mary, CEO of Marlow, the most effective way to develop great managers.
All right, thank you, Mary, for that update. That's great. I'll take a few questions for you as well. Katie, question for Mary.
Congrats, Mary. I want to introduce you to one of our portfolio companies, Alpha, a women's network for women earlier in their careers. My question would be, who exactly do you sell to B2B wise? Is it like head of HR? Are you selling into, the people manager, learning and development? Would love to learn more about that.
Thanks, Katie. Laurel.
Hi, congrats on doing so much on so little, only raising $430,000. That's amazing. I'm just wondering about the 1 million ARR this year. What's the net on that number? What are you able to keep after paying all of your expenses?
All right, thank you, Laurel. Rob.
I don't have anything that hasn't been asked on this one.
Awesome. Okay, and how about you, Zach? Question for Mary.
Yeah, my question relates to sort of differentiation relative to some large coaching platforms that you referenced. I wonder where you come out regarding like curriculum or a proprietary leadership program or style, so that you have consistency among your training programs, your coaches, and those kind of things, versus, differentiation or tailored by the customer's sort of management style or management practices.
All right, terrific. You want to tackle those, Mary? You got 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So margins, all of our coaches are full-time Marlow employees today, and we do have some opportunities to do more variable payments, but we want our coaches to be very close. You can kind of look to companies like Noom, who did $400 million in revenue last year and have raised $700 million in funding. They've brought more than 2,000 employees in-house, and so they're really proving the scalability. But for us, the margins are around 70% after we pay our team, our coaches in particular. We're currently break even, but we're planning to grow a little bit faster. So in terms of who we sell to business-wise, we're targeting leaders in organizations that can be the heads of sales or product, but it's most frequently head of talent development or HR. And often they're looking to roll out coaching to their employees at a higher scalability than they have in the past. So they might have been rolling out some sort of initiative and realizing that it's not growing at the scale that they want it to be growing. We're also really easy to scale internationally in English-speaking markets. In terms of differentiation, the consistency of our curriculum, because our coaches are in-house and we're keeping our coaching notes, our chat messages, activity completion, all of this information can be used to drive our research, which is developing our management training curriculum. So we do have a very organized curriculum that we move our managers through, and we have opportunities to scale that into additional services in the future. That differentiation is standing out very clearly for our clients. It's the reason they're choosing us over these other bigger competitors.
All right, well done, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, investor judges. So now comes the hard part. I am going to go around and call on you, much I did with the questions, and ask you to give us your top 3. No ties, please. We have a very sophisticated point system. It's 2 points for number 1, 1 point for number 2, and half point for number 3. So we can't do any ties, but you could do 4 honorable mentions, as Jason likes to say. And just do the top 7, the first 7 that you saw, and can't vote for Mary. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be fair to the cohort, but you can certainly meet her and certainly invest in her. Syndicate members, we'll run a poll at the same time and to get your top choice of the 7. Okay, so we'll run that. We'll have our investors think about that.
And we are doing our next class in November. We were going to do 3 classes in the fall, but we decided to do 1 because of our 300 plus investments. 60 of them decided to raise money this summer. We've never seen anything like it. And that includes the companies that have shut down. So of the over 300 investments, we have maybe 200, 250 are still active. So we saw this extraordinary number of companies go out for funding. And so Jackie has been helping and managing the process of coordinating 60 fundraisings. The syndicate, which we run, I'm just filibustering here a little bit to give you time to vote, is now up to 9,000 members. We will invest in the companies that graduate from our Accelerator, but we'll also invest directly in companies. And we are doing roughly a dozen investments through the syndicate.com. We also have the All In Podcast Syndicate, which has done 1 deal for Call In, and we'll be doing more deals with Chamath, Freeberg, and myself. Sachs is sitting out the All In Syndicate since it conflicts with his fund, but we may do deals together. And you can join that at the syndicate.com for the regular syndicate, my syndicate, or the syndicate.com/all-in to join the all-in syndicate. It's 2 different groups. You got to sign up for them separately, 2 different sets of deals, 2 different decision-making processes. And the syndicate now has been doing regularly 7-figure deals. So this year we did a number of deals that were 1 to 3 million. In the case of Call-In, we had, I think, 7 or 8 million in demand for 1 million in allocation. So syndicate is much bigger than it was 6 years ago when we did com.com. Back then, our average deal size was 200, 300, 400. Now it's 700, 800. So it's a much bigger footprint. Okay, I think I filibustered enough.
I think so.
And if you send us a great company, we will give you 10% of our carry on that first investment. And we've done that maybe 2 dozen times now. And we just do a simple letter agreement. So it's not a scout program, but it's a thank you, and it could be quite meaningful.
Yep.
Okay,
And not only for that, but we also have a monthly product called Remote Demo Day, remotedemoday.com, for companies that have rounds open who are looking to close them. So
it doesn't need to be our companies, and it's this exact same format.
if you have any in your portfolio. Great. Okay, so the poll's still going. Those are just for the syndicate members. For our investor judges, I'm going to go around and call on you one by one and get your top 3, and we'll record them. So I'm going to ask you, and you can please give me your number 3, your number 2. My number 3 is, my number 2 is just the name of the companies, and then your number 1 and why you voted for them. So we'll start with David. Are you ready to give us your 3, 2, and 1 and why, please?
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. What a wonderful group of companies. My number 3 is Loom. My number 2 is Fathom. And my number 1 is Track. And I think with Superhuman, we've shown that a amazing new UI that saves a lot of time as people's work life, especially the longer tail of the enterprise, gets more complex, really can have some market fit. And I think people's calendars truly have gotten way out of control.
All right, great. Thanks, David. And that number 3 was Wearloom, correct? Just wanted to
Number
clarify that.
Number
3
3
was Wearloom.
Loom.
Yep, got it. Okay, Diana, your 3, 2, 1, and why, please.
Tough, all great companies.
Sorry.
And I've never seen people pitch that quickly. So 1 is, or
no, 3, 2 backwards order, please. 3, 2, and 1. Mm-hmm.
Making it harder. 3rd is Fathom. 2 is Jenni AI. And I might be biased because I've tried the experience, but number 1 is Deft. I think the integration within Amazon and other large retailers is a good one. It's really hard to get to nail down the exact product that you want. So not only do I know the problem from a personal level, but it's something that we've seen when we talk to our investors, who many of which are executives at these large retailers.
All right, thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. I know that was hard. Okay, Jeff, your 3, 2, 1, and why, please.
Cool. So 3 was Deft, 2 was Wearloom, and 1 was Krepling. And I just think from a market size and ease of use, this product could be pretty transformational. I also appreciate the fact that you have real traction right now. So I think you have 11K in MRR. It seems like you're on a really good path.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Cool. 3 votes, 3 different number 1s so far. John, 3, 2, 1, and why, please. Oh, you're on mute, John.
Sorry about that. Now we need a startup for that. 3 is Track, because I feel the pain, and I think if there's an elegant solution for that, then I would definitely be a user. So, and I think a lot of people I know would. 2 is Jenni AI, because I see a big demand for that, and I think that if done correctly, it could be a big deal. And number 1, Krepling, because definitely there's a need for that, and I think it's not too audacious to already be saying that Shopify needs to be disrupted. And I think we're in an era where companies that are not very old are already ripe for disruption, and definitely there's a need for what they're doing. I liked it.
All right, thank you so much, John. Katie.
I think this is the 5th time I've done this, and I think this is definitely the hardest. I've really agonized over all these. They're all so great. Number 3, Track. It's something that I know I would use. I'm all ready to sign up. So thanks for that lifetime sign up bonus. Number 2, Fathom. I think it's super cool. I love podcasts. And number 1, Deft. This is a problem. Again, I'm biased. I personally want to see this solved. We just bought a new house and I see this hot mess of a search process. So I can't wait to sign up. I also think though, the market size is enormous, and I think you're just getting started, and the distributions that you can make could be quite impactful. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you, Katie. Laurel, 3, 2, 1, and why, please.
Wearloom is number 3, not because I don't love you, but just because. Fathom is number 2 because I see an enormous potential there and a problem that needs to be solved. And then Deft is definitely number 1. Love the founder, the way he spoke about the company and the problem and the solution, and the way he answered the questions, and also the potential for B2B.
All right, thank you, Laurel. Rob, you're up next, please. 3, 2, 1, and why, please.
Yeah, so I want to echo something Katie said. And I just want to say, Jason and Jackie, I think this is my like 16th or 18th one of these I've done. This is the best I've ever seen by far. Like every one of these companies would have been in my top 2, I think, on any other group you guys ever did. So kudos to you guys. This was hard. But I would say number 3, Deft, number 2, Track. And I'm going to go number 1 with Fathom, because when I think about investments, I think a lot about long-term defensibility. And I feel like the intersection of market, product, and tech and how they interact for this particular company is going to lead to a lot of defensibility over time.
All right. Thank you, Rob. And thank you for that. And Zach.
Yeah, I would echo great companies. I will base my ranking purely on strategic fit in the market in my mind. Would love to get to know more of these folks, and but all the teams seem great. My ranking, number 3, Deft, number 2, Krepling, and number 1, Jenni AI. I think Jenni AI has a great wedge right now. I do think that stuff intelligent creative or generative creative will become more and more commoditized, but I think there's a really interesting roadmap for monitoring contemporary topics and relevant posts and relevant themes, optimizing SEO live, sending notifications when content should be updated, and then even getting into generative ad formats, image and text, and others.
All right. Thank you, Zach. And thank you, investors. Okay, so we'll do three quick polls here. One is the tally of our investor judges this week. Presh, how did they do? What were the top 3?
All right. So top 3 for this week. First place, Deft with 7.5. Second place, Fathom with 5.5. And third place, Krepling with 5.
All right, great. And we've actually done this week to week over the last 14 or 15 weeks. So are we ready to announce the top 3 of the cohort total?
We are.
It's down to the wire. There are a lot of really, really close scores here. Everyone's like within a point or 2 of each other. This is nerve-wracking.
All right. So I'll say in third place overall is Jenni AI. Second place is Deft. And first place is Fathom.
Wow. Okay, great. And then we took a poll of our syndicate, and it's also really close. Okay, we have, looks like Fathom is first, Krepling second, and Jenni AI is, no, Deft is third. Just amazing companies. That's the bottom line. Thanks everyone for coming. Any other words, Jason?
Yeah, be careful out there. It's crazy. If you're a founder, good time to raise money and to look at your burn rate and make sure it is tight. Tight is always right. And if you can raise money from good to great investors at a good to great valuation, there's no reason not to do that. And if you're considering doing that in the next 12 months, do it now. Because I have a feeling this party is going to end and the sun's going to come up and the lights are going to go on. And yeah, get the money now and deploy it slowly. And if you have great companies, just email us and we'll meet with them. And thank you for your support. It's a team sport. We all know that. So please do include us. If you have something exciting going on, we can put as little as 25K and as much as 3.5 million. And we like to do anything up to Series B and anywhere we can be helpful. So thanks for coming and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to our investor judges for coming today and sharing your time, and our syndicate members. Thank you as well. And great job to all the founders.